In today's video, we are going to go over copyrights and how you can get images for your website. So this is in a series of website tutorials and trainings that I'm doing for you. And now we're coming to the part where we might want to get some content or at least start thinking about photos that you want to highlight on your website. So we're going to go through some of the problems that we have encountered with our clients. So a lot of times when I'm building a website for one of our clients, or our VAs are working on blog posts for our clients will send over and upload to their Google Drive a bunch of photos. And I can almost always tell, and so can the VAs now, after being with me for so many years, they know too when there's probably a copyright violation to that photo and that the client themselves did not take the photo. Remember, the safest and best use of getting images for your website, your blog posts, and anything else that you're doing online is to take your own photos. That's always the best way. It's not difficult to do. If you have an iPhone with you, I have an iPhone 13 Plus at the time of this video, and it takes better photos than most cameras. And so I just take that everywhere with me, and every time I see a cool thing to take a photo of, even if I don't even know what it's going to be for, I still take it because I am creating my own depository of photos that I can use at any time, and I own them. Again, also, when you do that and then you upload it to your website or to your blog, you now own that copyright. So copyright is automatic. I'll show you here. Let me see if I have that one pulled up for the copyright. Let's go, we'll go through that once I get to that place. But anyway, so we're going to go through. Now, what happens a lot is that our clients will subscribe, and so do I. I subscribe to Canva, to Storyblocks, Video Blocks, Audio Blocks, Shutterstock, PicMonkey, GetStencil. I have subscriptions, and as a company, we have subscriptions to all of these sites, and all of them have photos that you can use, but not all those photos on those sites are you allowed to use for commercial gain. So there's certain rules and I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. I am just telling you what we have experienced in our company and with our clients. So this is something that can be pretty scary. I had a client many years ago. I owned a marketing agency. Now it's a virtual assistant marketing agency. But one time I partnered with a friend of mine, and we had our own marketing agency, and we created websites. That was our biggest job, was creating custom websites for realtors and coaches and small business owners and musicians and actors. And one of our clients wanted this photo on her site and a certain kind of a look. And my partner went out to get that photo and took it from a site that she thought we would be able to use it from. And she put it on the homepage of the client's website. This was terrible. You cannot do that. You cannot just take a photo and put it on. Well, it just happened to be a Getty image, or at least Getty says that it was a Getty image. It's hard to always prove that, but their cease and desist letters are pretty nasty, and we're going to cover that a little bit as well. And they're just going to make you pay, and they don't even have to take you to court. They wanted $18,000 from my client. My client wanted my partner to pay for it, but Getty said, no, your partner can't pay for it. She paid for part of it, but what the law says is the person who owns the website, not the webmaster. So webmasters can use whatever images they want. And if you're hiring a webmaster to do a custom web design for you, then you better make sure that they have permission to use those photos that they're putting on your website. This is why I like to use photos that you have taken as the client, and then I can use those on your website since you own those photos. Right now, we're going to go into some screen sharing because I want to tell you one more story before we do that. It's very interesting. So I had a friend who she was an older realtor. She was in Washington, D.C. She's passed away since the time of this recording. But a long time ago, back before Google Maps. Google Maps had not even been invented yet. We were all blogging. This is 2007. Google was just starting with a thing called Google Places, and they were just going to start doing their maps. And this is like maybe 1 to 2 years before it became a thing to be on Google Maps. She created her own maps, and they were of her area. Beautiful maps, and it took her a long time to create these maps. And then she would put them on her website. They were very detailed. And pretty soon she started to discover that other realtors were taking those maps and putting them on their websites, thinking that that was okay. They didn't know. See, most people on, just making a website don't know what the copyright laws are. And so many people erroneously also teach in their classes that when you want images, just go to Google, search for an image, and use the image. This is totally against the law, and it's total copyright violation, because as soon as you take a photo and upload it to the internet, it is now yours, and you don't have to file a copyright. It's automatically copyrighted to you, as long as you're the first one to put it up there. That's where the big argument can come in, legally. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. So she started to see that these people were using her maps. So she made a deal with an attorney in her area and told him, you can have 30%, it was something like that. I don't know exactly the commission amount, for every time you can get us money for doing these. And these cease and desist letters that her attorney sent out to these people was $7,000 to $12,000, and they would settle at 6 or sometimes maybe even 5. But most people would pay the $7,800 or $7,500, whatever it was, because when they went to their attorney would say, you have to pay it. You took the picture, and you're going to lose in court, basically. So she made a good amount of money doing this, because so many people would take her maps. I'm going to go into screen sharing now, and I'm going to show you some issues that you will find. And I want you to be very clear on these, and let's go over these. So the most popular, so let's just go over what are the fees for copyright infringement in the United States. So this is for the USA. Listen to this from Purdue University. The law provides a range from $200 to $150,000 for each work infringed. Infringer pays all attorney's fees and court costs. The court can issue an injunction to stop the infringing acts, and the court can impound the illegal works. So they can impound your website. They can... And typically I have seen it, depending on what page of your website, or whether it was on social media, whatever it was, depending on where it was, determines how much it's going to cost. So if it's on a homepage of your website and your website gets traffic, you're going to pay a lot more. I've seen it always starting around 12 to 18,000, and either going up from there if you're a very heavily trafficked site, or you can always negotiate it down before you go to court, because the other site's going to have to pay fees. You're going to have to pay all their fees. They're pretty sure that they're going to win, but do they really want to take the time to go to court, right? So that's one of the things that you can do if you do get in trouble, but let's just not get in trouble. This is very important to understand this. And I have seen this so many times, having been doing internet marketing since 2006, 2007. I've been blogging. I've been a consultant, a coach, and I own I had 2 real estate companies, and now I own a real estate team. And I also am involved. I also own the virtual assistant company, and I'm still a business coach and consultant. So I run into this like all the time with my clients. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to make this video, was because people just don't know this stuff. And unfortunately, there's so many teachers out there, and coaches and consultants even, that teach the wrong thing and think it's okay to do this. It's not. Now, there's all kinds of other questions that you can ask. But anyway, we're going to close out of that one. And then I want to go to, let's go to copyright. Okay. So it's, so the question is copyright of your images on your website. Okay. So online photos and graphics are protected by copyright law, just like any other original work. The photographer owns the copyright in the images from the moment she creates them, unless she is working for hire with an agency or an employer. Then the agency owns it, or your employer owns the photos, right? In that case, they own the copyright. So you cannot go and just take people's photos, and you can feel assured that when you take photos that they are yours when you put them online. Now, the next thing I wanted to share with you was I wanted to tell you just a couple other things before we go into some of these terms of services. So, one of the things is that there's this big company out there called Getty Images, and they are the largest depositor of images. But this is the scary part. Getty Images can also take your photo, like if they could take a photo of you, and then they can promote that photo, and then they can sell the rights to that photo. There's a lot of legal. I don't like Getty Images at all. They hire commission-based, like what we call headhunters, to go around the internet and find people who are using Getty Images. The other company that's really, really quick to, there are other companies, I'll give you the names, that are very quick to come after you. Disney is one of them, okay? Disney does come after people for trademark and copyright infringements. And these big companies, they have to do that. Otherwise, their trademarks and their copyrights become public domain. And once they're public domain, if it's used too many times without the company suing and without the company stopping people from doing it, then it becomes like a public domain name or an image, and then anyone can use it. And that company loses that credibility. So that's why companies like, especially Disney, is so strict about, you cannot use Mickey, you can't go around selling Mickey Mouse t-shirts, okay? You are going to get shut down. You could even get sued for that, and that would be a lawsuit you are going to definitely lose. And that's going to be two things: copyright infringement plus trademark infringement, right? And which is even worse. I think it's even higher fines. Again, I'm not an attorney, not giving you legal advice. So let me give you, so this is another reason why, especially if you're a realtor, why it's so important to protect like the realtor logo and the realtor REALTOR, all caps with the R in the circle after it, means it's a registered trademark. And that is super important to understand, to protect that, because otherwise you end up again where anyone can use that term. And the National Association of Realtors does not want that to happen, because they have to protect their brand. They have to protect their trademark. So they will come after you if you're not a realtor and you're using that word on your website and you're calling your website with that in your domain name or anything like that. They will come after you and make you shut it all down. The company, I don't know if you know zippers, right? The word zipper. Well, the word zipper used to be a trademark name, and now everyone can use it because they didn't go and protect it. Because they didn't go and protect it and sue people who were using the word zipper without context to their company, basically. Now it's in a public domain, and everything that whenever you zip up a coat or a jacket or anything, it's a zipper, right? And any company can sell a zipper now. So you can use the word zipper in all your content. There's no trademark on it, but that's what happens when you don't protect your copyrights and trademarks. So Getty Images hires these people that go around, and I hate it, and they catch you cheating or using a Getty image. Or Associated Press, that's the other company that's really big at going after you. A lot of times you think that if it's from the news, you can use it, and that's not the case. You need to get permission to use, and you also have to give a tribute back to them. Now, there's a lot of cases where a lot of people think, well, I'm just going to use the image, link back to the company that created the image, because I'm doing them a favor, right? And I'm recognizing it's them, and I'm going to write underneath my image photo by and the name of the person. But you still can't do that without permission. You have to have a license to do that. So that's why these companies can come after people for doing these things, and that happens with the news. Now, so Getty Images says that they have royalty-free stock photos and illustrations and vectors and everything, but you have to pay for them. And each one does not give you the exact license. This is a big misconception people have. I'm going to go through some of that. But first, I want to tell you what Getty Images is doing. So first, a lot of people sue Getty Images. There's a doctor, I think. I can't remember if I saved that or not. Maybe it's here. No. So let's see. Yeah, here. Photographer files a $1 billion lawsuit against Getty. Okay, so a copyright infringement, both against Alamy and Getty for gross misuse of 18,000 of her photographs. Oh, that's a photographer. So this photographer is now suing them because they took all her photos and they want to sell them. And then Getty wants to own them. They want to go after people, but they actually are doing the same thing to other people. So this is the kind of thing. Now, Getty also sues other people all the time, and this is why you don't want to use their photos. So right now they are suing their AI image generators. So they're suing. Let me see. This is one good thing here is for extortion and stuff. So they write these extortion letters, and they're really scary when you get one of these in the mail. And so you can just Google Getty Images extortion and click on some of these and find out how to respond to their really nasty letters that they send out to make you pay. So I would suggest you doing that if you ever get in trouble with them. And they just did, let's see here. Here's another one here of Getty. Yeah. So Getty just now is suing the creators of the AI art tool Stability AI. They're suing them for copyright infringement for using, of course, we know that this is going to happen. There's a lot of lawsuits regarding the AI image generators, and that's why it's kind of scary to use either DALL-E and Midjourney, Jasper images. It's kind of scary to use them in a way because you don't know how that's going to go down later on, and how these lawsuits are all going to, be settled and come out. Now, let's go to first I want to show you one other thing. A client just told me that they were using Pexels for commercial use. And so they said, well, Pexels said we could use them. Well, yeah, they say you can because that's not their attorney, okay? And that person who's giving you the customer service, they're just looking it up and it says like right here, yes, all photos and videos on Pexels are free for commercial use. You can use them on your commercial website, blog, product, this is from their website, or anywhere else. Please note that depicted content like trademarks, logos, or brands may still be protected by privacy, copyright, or trademark rights. And this is a big problem because people will go to these sites. Let's just see if we can go there. And also, you can't just sell them either. So a lot of people use them for print on demand and for making things and creating things, or even for making websites that they're going to sell again. You can't do that unless you've edited, modified, and changed that image visually, like obviously. All right. So these are some things that most people don't understand. And it just says here, you can upload Pexel images and videos to YouTube as long as they are used to create your own video. So you can't just take their clips like a lot of people do and then put a couple of text things on it and go and do a shorts with it. You can't do that. And most people do things like that. So this is all coming down later. I don't know how much of this is going to affect all of us, but you have to go, what you do is you can't just go to their website. If you go to their website, it's never going to say all the small details. And Canva is really known for this. They're going to tell you all this stuff, but when you read the fine print, it's a different story. This is why you have to be so careful. So here's Pexel's homepage. Everything is free, But you will also see as you go through these images, well, we'd have to, like here, people might not know. See, these ones here are by iStock. You can't use these without paying, but being on iStock because it's sponsored. And you're going to find that as you go through them, not all of them, and sometimes you won't see them for a long time maybe, but every image should have some kind of a TOS on it when you actually search that image. Here's some more from iStock, but I've seen them where they're really big up front from iStock and other companies. So you have to just be extremely careful. If we want it to download this, say thanks. Okay, so the photographer here is asking for you to donate to him and to give him credit. Um, and so that's, that's a good thing, and you can do that. And I would always suggest that you do that when you're using somebody else's images if they're asking for that. Just save the problems, right? But if we go into terms of service, so let's go into Canva. Oh, let's see what this one is. Okay. What are stock photos? So this one here is from Shutterstock. And it says right here on some stock photos, see, stock photos for commercial use can be incorporated into a product, service, ad campaign, or almost any scenario, but they have to be marked as commercial use. So if you click on an image, you can see more information about the license and the copyright, just like I showed you on Pexels. So this is very important. People never do this. So this is when you run into big problems. People just don't do this. And then it'll also have if it's editorial, and it'll say editorial use only, which means you can only use it for news and information. You cannot use it on your website as a homepage image and stuff like that. These photos feature celebrities, public figures, and products, so they cannot be licensed commercially because they have those people in there, right? But if you're a journalist and you're going to be writing writing an announcement, then you can use that to complement your writing, but you can't use it in your book. This is very important. See, it's so many tiny, and nobody clicks on this stuff. They just go to the regular terms of service, and then that's all they do. Let's look at Canva, because that's the biggest problem I see people have. If we go to Canva, you can't just go to their site and click on terms of service. You have to actually go and Google Canva commercial use license terms of service or something like that. So I typed something like that in there, and it explains a whole lot of things in here that you probably don't know about Canva. So they're going to explain all of the licenses. All right. And so every single image has its own license, and that's something people don't know either. If you have the Pro Content license by paying, then you will have a valid, what they call a Canva subscription. So even if you have the free version and you pay the $1 per image, you can still do that. And in most cases, it's going to be okay, but not in all. And that's why you have to check every single image. So it says, if you have that, then most of them, you're going to be able to sell your design on your merchandise, right? You're going to be able to design and sell templates, free elements only, okay? So if you want to design and sell templates with free elements only, you can share them as PDF, JPEGs, and PNGs, right? You can create designs for clients for their social media and things like that, but you cannot resell the templates and stock elements. Now, if you click on this section 5, that's where all the little if, ands, and buts come in. And one of the things I wanted to point out to you is you cannot use it is never okay to sell Canva content on a standalone basis. Okay? You have to, if you're going to put it on a t-shirt, let's say, you cannot just put that image on the t-shirt. You have to design something. And you can use one of their templates, but the designs have to be your own designs. This is what they're saying. You cannot just use their designs on stuff. You can't use pro content. Okay, here's another really important thing. Unless you're just using it in Canva itself, but once you take it out of Canva, this applies. You can't use pro content in templates of any nature, including templates for websites, social networking, documents, projects. You cannot use the pro content. Now that is pretty crazy because I'm paying for pro content. So why can't I use that inside my templates? But you can't. And then it goes on and on about all of these things, which is really crazy. So here it says for editorial use. Remember what editorial use is. Remember that. You need to, it's customary, they want you to, it saves you from getting in trouble, to then say the creator's name who donated that photo to Canva. And so you just touch on, I'll show you that real quick, how you do that. So I got this lady, so I picked out this, I did an Instagram post, and this is the picture here. So after I click on the picture here on the left, you see those three dots? I'm going to click those three dots, and it's going to say it's free. So it's not a pro. And then it's going to have these things, but then I have to click on the I, because they make it difficult for you to find the license. And then this says use this safely in Canva design, personal and commercial use. You can use it in marketing and social media. You can even sell this design on your merchandise, but don't resell it. Don't take credit for it. You can't say you made it, and you can't trademark the designs that can't contain any logos, right? So you can even learn more about their design. So here's their full license, and you can really learn. And this is us saying number 5. These are the things this agreement permits you to do with Canva designs that contain content, free or pro. Invitations, okay, so it's including all of these things. Of course, you're not making money off of that. School projects, social media post, decorative background on your computer because you're not selling it, obviously. Templates that you design templates, but only if you're using them inside of Canva, not that you're selling them. So many people violate these. Entertainment applications like books and magazines, newsletters, things like that. You can print those there. You have to change it though. Remember, you can't just use there. You already know that. That was one of their first rules. You can also use it on your web pages, blogs, ebooks, and videos. But remember, the pro content then is subject to the restrictions in 5A, which is going to be right here. And then you can do prints and posters for personal promotional uses, resale, license, or other distribution, and any other uses approved by Canva. But here we go. The use 5A, the use of pro content, including your web pages, blogs, ebooks, videos, is limited to a maximum of 480,000 total pixels. So that's like 600 pixels by 800 pixels per content file when unedited. Okay. So this is, unless it's on Canva's websites, of course, but this is the tricky thing. And do you really want your outsourcer, your virtual assistant, your website developer not to know this information? They probably don't. Our VAs do. Everybody in my company knows this very well. But this is one of the most important little hidden, remember, you don't see that when you pay for pro. You don't see that on any of these sites. This is why you have to actually, I always suggest Google the company's terms of service all the time and read through it, because people just don't understand this, how many people, did you know that you could only have a 600 by 800 pixel on your website, on a blog page? Most of us are using, downloading them at their full size, which is like 2,900 by 2,900 or whatever, or 1,800 by 1,200 by 1,200, whatever. And those are all too big. So, and this is a maximum of total, okay? So you have to be really careful where you're using this and how you're using it. Like, it's crazy. This is not a lot. And so do you really want someone being in Canva all day long, creating 100 and all 120 of your blog posts have a, let's just say by accident, an 800 by 800? Well, now you're over. Now you violated the terms of service. So just remember, you'd have to go down and take it all off, right? And then they have other permitted uses. Just remember, like they have a Walking Dead template collection, but that this is old already, but I'm just giving you an example. They're only for personal use. You cannot use it for commercial gain. Same with Stranger Things. So you need to be really careful about these things. And then now they have music. So you got to come in here and read about the music. Everything you have to read, and really understand what the terms of service is so you don't get in trouble. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. I hope this has helped you with understanding how important it is to not violate terms of service, copyright infringements, trademark infringements. Let's not get sued. Let's not get those demand letters. Let's make sure we take lots of photos ourselves. And we know also how to alter. We license photos, and we can also, in our company, we know how to alter the photos enough to satisfy. So for instance, we have a subscription to PicMonkey, and in PicMonkey, we can use their pro, I have a pro version of theirs for our company, and we are allowed to edit their photos for commercial gain, but we have to really edit and create our own design. Like there's things we can't just add a watermark to it. That doesn't work. So hopefully this helps you to understand the importance of copyright. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. There's another way that you can search for some images when you're in Google. There's some that you may be able to use. So the law states that you cannot copyright anything that is over 100 years old. There's a few exceptions. Let's say the Dr. Seuss collection is over 100 years old. Well, what's going to happen is Dr. Seuss is no longer alive, but his family is going to renew that somehow. They have very good lawyers. They're another company that comes after you when you use their trademark or their images or their words. Like you can't make a t-shirt that says the cat in the hat is mad at you. You can't do that. You can't use an image of Cat in the Hat, etc. Okay. So those kind of companies, but typical writers that are passed on, they don't have a, very rich kin or whatever that are going to go and renew those trademarks and things like that and copyrights. So one of the things that you can do, so that's one thing. The other thing is if it's in Creative Commons, that gives you the commercial license. But usually you have to be careful with Creative Commons because usually Creative Commons does require you to do a link back. So just follow the rules, follow the license agreement, and you'll be fine. The other thing that cannot, the photographs that cannot be copyrighted and that you can use all you want are government photos. So anything that's in the US Congress or at the White House, things that they have like pictures of the White House on their site, things in your own community. So if someone takes a picture of the, I would still give the credit to the photographer if I could find who it was. But for instance, our city Provo, our city town center, or the city recreation center, and they have images of those on their websites, you can use those. So those are the exceptions. So I'm going to show you how to do a Creative Commons search. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to google.com. And now what we want to do is, I don't know how your screen looks, but in my Chrome, I have an image search buttons right here. If you don't, you can just type in images right here and it'll bring you there. But I'm going to click on images. And now I'm in the image library of Google's image library. You see it says Google Images like that. So that's where I'm at right now. So what I want to find, now you can't just go, it's going to take forever if you just come in here and search for an image. Because you're going to find all the copyright, everybody else's image. You're not going to want to sit there and find out for every single image. So you come down here to settings, way down here at the bottom right. You're going to click on settings and you're going to click on advanced search. Click on advanced search. Now you can say what kind of image you want, but that's for you to decide. But what I want to show you is you come down here to usage rights and you're going to click on Creative Commons license or commercial and other licenses. So let's first do Creative Commons license. And now let's search for Siamese cats, just for fun. So we'll do an advanced search for that and see what comes up. All right. So you see that we have this Wikimedia. You want to check there before you use it. You'd want to check again. Here's Pixabay. So that's usually going to be okay to use. Flickr, not so much. Pexels, again, we'd have to check and make sure. So let's just see, here's another Pexels. So you're going to see who it is from, and you'll get to know a lot about the different companies on whether they're easy to give you a Creative Commons license or not. So let's just go up here and find out maybe if this this Pexel one here. Let's click, it'll say licensable, okay? So we want to check what, it's going to want me to sketch. I can't believe that. All right, so it's going to want me to, here it is. Let's go over here. And it says here, the creator, credit, license details, right? So we want to click on license details, and it has a Creative Commons license, and it is in the public domain. Oh, so they're retiring this tool. That's interesting. That's interesting. So I wonder, that's something new. That can't be that old. So here's your Creative Commons license, and you can share your work. Let's see if this tells me. Nope. So that wasn't found. So that's not good because we don't really know what his search is going to, like what that picture is really going to be. We can go here to, it says free stock photo. It came from an image file. Okay, so, all right. So this is telling you about Google's disclaimer about using copyright images. They don't want you to use them. Let's go here to Pixabay. Let's see if we can pick out Pixabay. And we'll go to this image here on Pixabay, and we will, it says content license free to use under the content license, no attribution required. But what is the content license? So let's click the Pixabay terms of service. Remember, we don't want to just assume things. So we're going to go down here and look at the Creative Commons license at Commons 0. Okay, that means the author is supposed to have dedicated their work to the public domain, waiving all their rights. But let's make sure it's commercial. The CC0 content can be used for all personal and commercial purposes without attributing the author, okay? But you cannot sell this. So again, we go back to what can you use, where can you use it, things like that. So it says you cannot sell this as digital or physical. So that means I can't make a poster out of it and sell it. I can't make a calendar and put this on top of the calendar. I also can't make wallpaper that I'm going to sell. And this means standalone. So what they're saying is that you can't use just that picture. So how they're going to explain that to you is that you haven't applied anything creative to that content at all. All right. So if you're using it only in its original form or cropping it, that doesn't count. Changing colors doesn't count, resizing doesn't count, and using a filter doesn't count. And those are pretty much all the things that we all do to change the image. So you cannot do that. And of course, if there's any trademarks in it or logos, it doesn't matter what it says you can do, you can't do it, okay? You can never use anything that's logoed or trademarked. So let's go back to this picture. So I would have to take this little picture and I'd have to do a lot of other things to it. So that's another, that's going to be for another training or tutorial, because that's a lot more for me to explain. But basically, I would upload this into something like Canva or PicMonkey or Get Stencil, which I love. And then I would create it and make it a part of another design. I would have to almost, and if you know Photoshop, that's really, really good. You could take this and then put it into Jasper Art and ask it to make some renditions, make it turn into like an Art Deco picture, something like that. So those are the different kinds of things you can do. And all my links to all my tools are in the description. So Jasper Art's pretty cool. All right, so that's what you check there. So I wanted to just show you that. So it's a lot more complicated than just, Pixabay says, oh, you can use any of our images. It doesn't mean you can just use it for your homepage as your main image on your homepage. You can't do that on most of these situations. All right, so let's go now. We're going to go to, into the Congress. So I went to congress.gov. And I went up here to I went down here and I clicked on history, art, and statistics because I figured, well, that's going to show me some things. And then I went over here to art and history, and I went to historic buildings and spaces. Now, let's say I can do an article and I want the Capitol. So I'll take this and then I'll click on it again. So now we have it open so that we can see. And now you see it has a catalog number. Click on that catalog number and you'll come here to see the credit line, and it says U.S. Senate collection. So you can use this. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice, so you'll have to check with your attorney if we don't know. But it says that it's identified, the artist and the maker of it is unidentified. So there's no way, we can't prove who made it. It's an old photo. Remember, anything over 100 years old. Let's just look at something real quick. I'm not sure if we can do this or not, but let's go back to Google search. And I want to try something here. If it has an age, I didn't see that images. Let's go down to settings again. Let's go to advanced search. Oh, darn, it doesn't let us do that. Okay, well, I thought maybe it would give us like, I thought maybe it would give us a choice of, how old the photo was. So let's just go to Google and see if that's smart enough to do that for us. Images over 100 years ago. Let's see if it, so here's one for, wow, this is interesting. So if you want to use some black and whites, there are some choices here that you might be able to use that people could not. But see here, BuzzFeed News, you couldn't use theirs. I wouldn't. 100 years ago today, Family Search, you probably can use something from there. And so we could look around at some of these and see, but they're probably, Business Insider is probably using this from an archive of collections, but I would try to go find the original source of it so it doesn't, look like you took theirs. And so there's some things here that you can use that are probably in the public domain. All right, and then let's try, so, you have to just be imaginative and see the different things you can do. Let's do this advanced search and come down here. Instead of Creative Commons, let's do commercial and other licenses. And now let's search for, so that's on now. So now let's search for, let's say a commercial building. We want to maybe put that design into, so we'll look and see what we have here. Oh, Shutterstock. Nope. See, they're not, so you can't just depend on that. That's telling you commercial license, which means you're going to have to buy it. Adobe Stock, deposit, they're all, none of these are actual public domain photos. So let's go up here, public, I don't think it's going to work that way. Public domain pictures, here we go. So if we go here, we can find some cool pictures maybe. This is publicdomainpictures.net. So if these are public domain, again, don't just assume, okay? So here's a building we could use. There's more buildings here. Here's one here, an old post office. And we would have to see, here we go. Here's the license right here. Don Hudson has released this old post office Devon image under public domain license. It means that you can use and modify it to your personal and commercial projects. If you intend to use an image you find here for commercial use, please be aware that some photos do require a model or a property release. Pictures featuring products should be used with care. So again, if it has a product in it, it's probably still trademarked even 100 years later. You don't want to take a chance of that. And so no matter what, you're always going to get these disclaimers. So they might want a release of this, right? So anyway, that's one way. This is a really good photo though. I think I want to use this in one of my blog posts. It's really cool. Oh, I like these old boxes too. So there's some really cool things you can do with this. All right. So now let's go back to this White House one we were doing. So I went over here to this Capitol, right? And so here I found another one here of this Knight of the Windbag enters the senatorial field. And I clicked on it because it's really cool. See, it's a really cool, like old, a long time ago, 1884. And it's, if we click on collection again, catalog number, I mean, and it'll say unidentified after Burnham, Gill, and Puck. And it was, date was 1884, so that's way past 100 years. And it's in the US Senate collection, so you can use this. So you probably should, underneath the photo, just put US Senate collection just to be safe. I mean, that shouldn't matter because it is in the public domain. But okay, so let's do another search. Let's do one where, let me close out of these. So anyway, those are some different house ways. Let's go to White House. With whitehouse.gov, you're going to have to be a little bit careful because the media sometimes will own the photos. Okay, so if we go here, featured media. So if we click on all the featured media, and let's say we want to find something that's find their images. I had it before, I'm sorry. But anyway, there's you can find some different kinds of images to use, let's just say. Let's look at, let's just click the White House. Nope, it's not going to let me. I don't want the stuff. I want just images. And there usually is one. Let's click on there. Let's go look at their menu. Because I've seen, that's just going to take us back about the White House. Maybe, yeah, so maybe something like, here we go. How about presidents or the grounds? Let's do the grounds. So here's the grounds, explore buildings, about the White House. And yeah, this is like when you want to go to it, but let's just say we want to take this photo. Oh, it doesn't let me do that either. It's interesting. Okay. But okay, so let's just do White House. Let's go back to, let's do this. Let's go back to our, and let's do White House. All right, so the White House, here we go. This one here, I believe, is by the White House. So let's click on that. And I don't think so. Nope, I don't think that's going to matter. Let's go to visit. Yep, that's that picture there. So you could absolutely use that photo. Here's another one that you can use from the White House. Okay. All of these, so any of them that you see here that are Wikipedia Commons probably. So you just want to see now here, this BBC, no, you cannot. All right. It's not history.com. No, they're using the same photo, obviously. So a lot of them are using those same photos, but you don't want to use it from their site. You want to go to the source to get the picture. Okay. So let's just say you're a realtor maybe, or a travel blog, and you want to write about, let's go back to images, and oops, I didn't want that. We want to go back to just the image search. And so let's just go back there, and then we want to say, let's just say I want Salt Lake. I want the Salt Lake, Utah, I know what, Utah State Capitol. Okay. And now here's the utah.com. That's not a, this isn't See Visit Salt Lake. That's not a government site. So you'd have to look for the government site if I wanted to use that. And I'm looking for the government site. Sometimes you can use EDU, like from the universities. You can use them sometimes. But I don't see where there's the government one, okay? But anyway, so that's kind of how it takes a long time. I don't think utah.com is a government site, but no, this is just somebody, that's a private site. So you're going to want to look for things. So how about, let's do this. Let's get smaller then. Provo City Center. No, Provo City. What would they call that? Government office. Let's see if we can show. Okay, so here's one. So see how it says Provo City Government. So if we click on this one we can use because it is from, if we go visit, we can use it. It's, yeah, right there, because it's from the government. All right, so we can use that. We can use pictures of the city council, things like that. All right. So you can use those kind of pictures. So you have to kind of like just be really, oh, you know what? Provo Parks and Rec. That's another one. Let's go to Provo City Parks Division. I want to see if they have images besides the front of their. Let's go to their website. See, here's a beautiful picture. So this should be in public domain. And then this should be in public domain, but I just go take these photos myself. But anyway, you don't want pictures with people in it ever unless you blur their faces out. But there's a lot of things you can get from these kinds of places. So usually if you contact like a nonprofit, so now what we have done is I have a site called move to provoutah.com, and it's Living in Provo, and we do restaurant reviews. And a lot of times we'll go, like I went to the Provo Bakery and they didn't have a lot of things out for me to take pictures of. So I took some pictures. I took pictures of their outside, and then we just sent them an email and we said, hey, we're writing a blog post about your restaurant. I love it. It's my favorite bakery, because it is. Can I use some of the pictures on your website? They were so excited. And the same thing with the brunch house here in Provo. They were so excited when I sent them an email. They go, really? Yes, please. Here's some good pictures, and people sometimes are really nice about it. And of course I credit them back. And I also link to the restaurant anyway. So they're going to get traffic to their restaurant. So this is a great way to also connect with other people in your community. Good ways for you to be able to find images that you can use. But again, go take your own pictures.